welcome to my Quirky Rides. So I thought I'd give you a quick update on the fleet, starting with the Citroen Ami here. So the Citroen Ami has been nothing but trouble really, and although it's really interesting, it's just, I've never been able to drive it. I just feel like I've put so much effort and energy into this car, and quite a bit of money I've spent on it, but not really got any benefit from it. The styling on this car is actually something else. It's really unusual, and it has these these rectangular headlamps, which was the first production car by Citroen to use these rectangular headlamps. It's as you probably know, it's based on the Citroen 2CV platform, and it was the first car to use the bigger 602cc flat twin engine. And it's got the raked back rear window. It's an early car because it's got the flat rear lights, and so yeah, it's certainly unusual. And in the video it looks in quite good condition. It's not quite as good in real life, but it's certainly striking. So I'm going to open the bonnet and I'll just show you the first problem. So the first problem here is I fitted a flexible pipe, brake pipe, going from the master cylinder, and it goes to this junction here, and it's leaking where it joins the master cylinder down there. It's leaking again. It's a new pipe that was. The second problem is the fuel issue. Here's an aftermarket 6-volt electric fuel pump, and which I fitted a few months ago, but for some reason the fuel's not getting through properly, and I've cleaned all the fuel with blown through with an air line. I've explained all that in previous videos, but the engine won't run for more than a minute or so with a bit of fuel in the carburetor. I'm just going to remove the back seat from the car, which is fairly straightforward. In here, got this little flap here, and then you can see the fuel tank. That's the wire for the sender unit. Here's the fuel pipe going from the tank to the front of the car under there. So what I might have to do is mount the pump at the back here somewhere. I'd have to cut this pipe. I may have to drop the fuel tank, I don't know. Whatever's the easiest. So it's quite a handy little access hole there. The seat's actually quite comfortable in the back here. It goes along with this very soft bouncy suspension. The seat's very soft. Decent amount of leg room. So that's the Ami. Because I know I'm selling this car, I have to excuse all the background machinery noise. I don't know where that's coming from, but because I'm selling this car, I've just run out of enthusiasm, and it just needs someone else to just fall in love with it and take it on and just bring it up to the next level and just use it, drive it and enjoy it really, something which I've not been able to do. There we are. So now moving over to the Messerschmitt, I'll just explain what jobs I need to do on this one. So welcome to the Messerschmitt cockpit. So I need to fit a steering column bush. There's quite a bit of play on the column there, and I did fit some steering arm bushes. I have got some parts to fit, but not had time to do it. Another thing is the neutral selector cable. So the neutral selector is this lever here at the bottom, which allows me to engage select neutral at any point from any gear. That's just come off actually. So that definitely needs some attention. Another issue is the clutch. The clutch is dragging a bit, so when I try and engage gear, it kind of crunches a bit, but then it starts slipping as I'm moving along the road. So I think it might be a case of having to file the edge of the clutch plates, because I think they're sticking a bit, and adjust the cable. And the other thing is the brakes. The brakes are pulling sharply to the right, but not all the time. So I think it's a case of slackening the brake cables. It's cable system, it's not hydraulic, and then tightening up the linkages there, and which is not a difficult job. It's just one of those things that takes a bit of time to get right. Now the other thing I got is I bought this spring because I noticed on the KR 175, the earlier car, there's a spring under the front seat. Now the KR 200, which had better suspension, doesn't have a spring, but I was thinking of fitting this spring here, which is very similar, under the seat here, somehow under the seat. So when the pantograph goes forward, I've got a bit of springing there, because the ride is very hard, very uncomfortable, and these aren't the most comfortable seats in the world. Now there is an option of the sports or the TG seat, which is much more padded, and I think it reclines, but they are expensive and I just can't afford one really. So there we are, that's that seat spring. That's actually off a shock absorber for a mountain bike. The thing that's been pointed out to me is I've got these two lights the wrong way round. This is the ignition warning light here, and this light illuminates green when you is selected kind of electronically. But really I've been told that these are the wrong way round, so the green one should be at the bottom, and this orange one should be at the top. And the other thing, I've only got one headlight working. As you can see, I think it's just a bad connection, because it kind of works on and off. Yeah, it's come on again now. So that needs sorting out anyway. I need a new one of these. I did repair that temporarily. It sort of worked, but it looks a bit untidy. The first thing you'll notice, I'm missing a digit on this number plate. It just fell off on the road somewhere. You see at the back here, it's a completely different style. The Scootacar was also sitting low on this side because for some reason the spring doesn't recoil properly. So when I try and it's working now, but it tends to stick in the same position. So I might have to get both springs sent away, or get some new ones made, or match them up with something else. I'm not really sure. And so yeah, front suspension is the brakes. It is only braked on the front, hydraulic this time, but you really have to stand on the brake pedal to get them to work. And I have been told there's a possible way around it, and but it is something else that's going to take a bit of time, so I'd probably have to wait till next year, I think. The other issue again is with the engine, and it's not charging. I've had this problem for a long time, and I think it's probably the armature. So the whole thing will the engine will have to come out, and the Dynastart, which is a combined starter dynamo, if you're not familiar with those things, all that will have to come out, be dismantled and tested. And new ones, they are pretty expensive. We're talking a few £100 there for a new one. And again, something I put on the back burner. I've been really focusing on the Ami, trying to get that done, ready for sale, but I don't seem to be able to sell it at the moment. This is what I think. I can never remember which is the armature and which is the commutator, but this is part of the Dynastart, and here you've got these what are called brushes made of carbon, and they rub against segments and create a contact. I'm not that familiar with repairing these, so I'd have to seek specialist advice. This is just an old one. I replaced this one because when I bought the car, the wires had been cut, so I didn't know where the terminals were. On the plus side, I do have proper wiring in the garage now. An electrician came and sorted it all out for us. I've also mentioned in other videos I have an old Fiat, a Fiat 600D from the late 60s, which I really want to bring back here and work on it, get that on the road. But I can't do anything with that one until I've sold the Ami. So that's halting progress of that one somewhat. So that pretty much wraps it up for this video, and I have to say I have enjoyed most of the process, even with the Ami, although it's been frustrating. It's just been disappointing I've not been able to drive it really. But in terms of the Messerschmitt, I've really enjoyed owning the Messerschmitt and driving it, and the Scootacar to an extent. And you know, I'll look back and I'll say I'm glad I've owned these cars. It's been a good, useful experience and a bit of a learning curve, shall we say. So at this point, I'll just say thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.